and now you know. See, we made him wait through all that, the funky part at the beginning, so the OJs can sing. Got to give the people what they want.
I love it. Love it. It's my best walk-up song.
There you
Heck
go.
yeah.
That's what we want. Welcome to KUVO Studios, Mayor Mike Johnston.
Thank you so much. Delighted to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you back. It's been a little bit and a busy week because, hey, you're the mayor. You wake up and say, what am I going to do today?
I do. Often I say, what am I doing in the next 15 minutes? Sometimes I walk in a meeting saying, what am I doing next? So that does happen.
But it's always busy over there at City Hall.
It
You're
is.
doing the city's business. What's on your agenda today? Or
We got a lot of things happening in the city we're really excited about. I think we're working every day on making this a more vibrant city, a more affordable city, a more safe city. We got big things moving. You might have seen this last week. We just announced a 25-year extension of the Nuggets who will be staying in downtown Denver, a 25-year extension of the Avs who will be in downtown Denver, an exciting chance to build more affordable housing and help take what used to be just a ball arena with 50 acres of parking lots around it and set up, turn it into housing. And there'll be some arts complexes there. There'll be residences. There'll be commercial developments, retails, restaurants. So that's exciting. We're working hard to make the city safer every day. Crime is down about 30% over the last year. We're really excited about that. We'll keep doing everything we can to make it a safe city. And we're, preparing to make a real investment in downtown. And the 16th Street Mall is going to reopen next summer completely. That'll mean everybody can come down to their favorite place. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And it's going to be fantastic. We're working every day on bringing amazing local vendors. I say you'll find the best of Denver only in Denver down there when you come back. It's going to be a fantastic reopening. So there's exciting things moving.
Wow, that's a lifetime right there that just flashed before my eyes. I wanted to. We could stop and take an off ramp on any of those things. Like, it's great to have major sports in the city, and there's always that tension. There's some team or some stadium that's always threatening to build way out in the suburbs somewhere. And I'm from Detroit originally.
Yes,
we remember the Pontiac Silverdome experiment.
Yes.
Keep it downtown.
There are only a couple of cities left in the country that have all four major sports franchises in their downtown. And we are one of those, and that's what makes down. It's 200 nights a year where we're going to have a major sports team playing right here in our downtown, and we are the only city in 30 years that's had a reigning NBA MVP and NHL MVP in the same city. And so, for the trivia listeners at home, you have to think of who in the 90s would have been a city with two MVPs. You can call in and let us know. I'll tell you if you're right.
Right. Yeah. Not bragging, just saying.
Just saying, only city this century, that's us.
Just saying. I think you mentioned also in that lineup of stuff you're working on, residences, which is, I think, your middle name. It's Mike Housing Johnston because that's really the big deal. In fact, if you're building a legacy and it lands there, would that be enough? Would that be one thing that you want to do?
For us, the most important part is we have so many folks who love the city and grew up in the city. We want to make sure they get to stay in the city, and our kids get to grow up and stay in the city. And we've seen cities like San Francisco or New York or Austin, Texas, where that just doesn't happen. You can't live there anymore. And we see Denver on a dangerous path to become that if we don't fix it. But if we can fix it, and this can be one of the most vibrant cities in the country, both for art, for athletics, for economics, but you can still have a second-grade teacher who can afford to live in Denver and own a home, that'd be a win for us. That's what we want to deliver.
Double bunking in the studio apartment. It just gets crowded in there.
It does not. It does not work. And we think there are about 45,000 families living in Denver now that'll be pushed out over the next 10 years if we don't get more affordable housing here. And those are the families we're not willing to lose.
Well, there's a price tag to that, and you've put it all into a proposal on the ballot next week called 2R.
Yeah, 2R. So, I think probably the presidential election is pretty important, but I think other than that, I'd say 2R is the most important thing on our Denver ballot because
this is the sales tax.
This is a sales tax to fund affordable housing. And the important thing is it would help us bring on about 4,500 more affordable units a year. And this is really focused on workforce housing. This is everybody who makes about $100,000 or less. So we got nurses making $85,000 a year who still can't afford to live in Denver. So this is really the people working one or two jobs and struggling to make it.
I think when you put it in terms of 5 cents on every $10 spent, you have to add that on top of what's already existing. So Denver's sales tax would be like 9.3 cents?
About 9.3 cents. The key to know is this does not apply to groceries. does not apply to gas, does not apply to the most important bucket of goods you buy every week. This is really on retail. This is if you're buying a Jamal Murray jersey, yeah, you're going to pay for it then. If you're buying some new Nikes, you're going to pay for it. But it does not affect groceries or gas or kind of the core items. And it's about total impact of maybe $2 a week per family. But what will change is we're saying people should not in Denver have to pay more than 30% of what they make to rent. And so what that means, and this people will laugh at this. That's the ideal. That means if you're making $60,000 a year, you should only pay $1,500 a month in rent. You know, a teacher that's making $60,000 right now is probably paying $2,500. So this could save people $1,000 in rent a month to actually at $2 a week of increased sales tax. I think it's totally worth it.
4 of the 13 council persons did not vote to put this on the ballot. 9 did and said, all right, let's let the voters decide. That's really sort of where we're at. Everybody is sort of deciding, look, there's no organized opposition.
Correct.
To this one because it's
nobody's
taxes.
Against affordable housing, it turns out.
Well, yeah, but then there's always, okay, taxes. Do I decide, you know, Mr. Politician, here's our budget, spend my money for me. You know, this is everybody's making that decision.
Yeah.
Often standing in the booth or at home with their ballot. They're making that decision.
And for us, this is not about city knowing better. It's about how do we work with the public sector and private sector together. What we know right now is we are not going to be able to build affordable housing in Denver without public dollars. Because you look at cost of land, way higher. Cost of materials, way higher. Cost of labor, way higher. If you just let the market build units, what it will build are the $3,000 a month units you see coming up right now because that's what the costs are. What we can do with city dollars is we can buy down that cost. So we can put in some city money, but we say if we're going to put in city money, then this beautiful new building in 5 Points or in Rhino that's going to have 100 units in it, 30 of those units will now be affordable. Same beautiful building, same beautiful finishes. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference from the apartment that's not subsidized where the doctor lives and the one that is subsidized that the nurse lives in. And the idea, so this is not a public housing of our grandparents' generation of the 1960s. This is not public housing projects. These are building mixed income units into the developments that are already going.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the voting season right now, a week away. The Blue Book can be a little daunting.
Is it 95 pages?
It's a ton of pages, which I learned that not every state does that. So it's nice to have it in one spot, but it can definitely be a task. So why is it important that people get on their Blue Book, get to studying what makes Denver what it is so that they can make that decision on the 5th?
Yes, I do joke that the Blue Book is a little bit like War and Peace this year. It is a very, very thick book. And, you know, people asked if I voted. I was like, I'm doing it in 2 or 3 installments. You know, you got to carve out a couple of sessions to get through it. So that is true.
That's a strategy.
That is.
But it is. I had a family I talked to on the doors, and I was knocked this weekend. Like, we're doing 1 page each day this week. And so, but it is really important. You know, I was at New Hope this weekend, and Pastor Downing was talking about how he's going to vote every single time everyone gives him a chance to, because we know how many folks have fought and given their lives to make sure that power exists. But yeah, there are a lot of important items on the ballot, and I think that affordability is probably the most important one. What we see, there was a poll that came out recently from one of the local foundations that showed that 90% of Denverites are saying affordability is their biggest concern about Denver. It just feels like it's getting too expensive too fast. So that was what people elected me to do. That's what we wanted to take action on. That's why it's on the ballot, as we think that's been clearly people are yelling saying this has got to change. And there are a lot of good things in the ballot, but this one too I think is going to be the one that the most voters have told me they want to see us take action on, and now we have a chance to do that.
As somebody that has dedicated their life to being now in this position, helping move things around, make things happen in Denver, what inspires you? What's the juice that gets you, excited about this?
You're not even running for anything.
I'm not. I mean, people sometimes will see me and give me a hug or pat me on the back and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Your job seems so hard." And I actually say, like, I love this job every single day. I mean, I feel so blessed to be able to do it because you can actually make a difference every day. You can actually help people who need access to mental health. You can get them services, or someone who's unhoused, we can get into housing, or someone who's working 3 jobs, we can build an affordable unit. Or if you were afraid about crime in your neighborhood, we can help address that issue. And so, and I get to work with 13,000 amazing city employees who get up to do the same thing. And so I feel like you can control the work you do and who you get to do it with. And I love both of those things. So it is a great job, despite how hard it is. Whenever something's wrong, it's sort of your fault, and that's okay. But usually there's something we can do to fix it, so we probably should fix it.
Denver, Colorado, one of the great cities of the land, but don't tell anybody. No, really, we're in a growth city, and we're up against little cities like Salt Lake City trying to nip at our heels.
Yes.
We got the sales tax. What's it going to be? Want us to stay competitive.
We do, and for us, that's really important. That even if this sales tax passes, Denver will still be one of the lowest tax cities of the top 40 cities. We're in kind of the lowest 10, so we are still far more competitive than all the rest of these cities in the country. And we have such a great quality of life. We know folks want to move here, and the chance that can be a gift or a curse. But yeah, right now, New York Times ran a story of the 50 most popular cities in America for young people to move. Denver's number 2. I mean, everyone wants to be here, which is great until you get here and you can't afford to pay the rent, or worse off, you get here and the folks who have been here for 30 years can't afford to stay. So we're really worried about the families that are here not being pushed out, and we don't want someone to have to live 40 miles away to come to work in Denver every day. We don't want our teachers and nurses and servers having to do that commute and expand traffic and climate impact and the rest. So we think we got all the rest of the pieces in place. If we can keep affordability, this remains definitively the best city in the country to live.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, thanks very much.
Great for being here. Thank you very much for having me. I loved it.
Coming over from the City and County Municipal Building.
As I'm going to change the term, thanks to you, we're just going to call it City Hall. That's a much shorter term.
Cool with us.